Hi friends, today we are going to learn types of resources. In that, we are going to learn types of natural resources. Before that, the main three types are there of the resources. These are natural resources, human-made resources, and human resources. Today we are going to learn in detail natural resources. The definition is that the resources which we find in the nature that fulfill our needs are called the natural resources. Okay, example, soil is there, then land, air, water, minerals, natural vegetation, etc. These are some the examples are there. Fossil fuel means the whatever the resources are there which are in the nature that fulfill our needs are called the natural resources. Okay, see here some natural resources used directly like air, water, foods. Is for that there is no need to any modification and processing for that. So these are used directly. Like water is there, air is there, foods are there. We use directly. No need of modification for that. And some natural resources for that we require some modification. We have to separate the minerals from the ores. Ores means what? The raw forms of mineral is known as the ore. Okay. So here one example is that this is the iron ore. Afterwards, the processing, this is purified, and from that we can prepare the different type of the substances like rods are there, gate is there, JCBs type vehicles are there. So we prepare from this iron ore. So we don't use directly, some processing is required for that. Again, crude oil is there. From the crude oil, when we purify it, we get the diesel and we get the wax. Okay, so these are the natural resources we have to use after the processing. The use resources depend upon occurrence. Some are on the surface of the earth and some are deep inside the earth. Okay, so we cannot use which are inside the earth, deep inside the earth. Types of natural resources. There are 4 types of natural resources on the basis of origin, on the basis of development, on the basis of renewability, and on the basis of distribution. So these are the 4 types are there. First of all, we are going to learn on the basis of origin. There are again 2 subtypes are there: biotic resources, abiotic resources. Okay, first one is the biotic resources. These are also called as the living resources. It includes plants, animals, or microorganisms. Okay, these are the biotic resources. These resources have the capacity to reproduce because environmental condition is favorable. So these are renewable. Then what is mean by renewable? As a renewable resource is a resource which can be used repeatedly and replaced naturally. I would like to give one example that with the help of few seeds of jar, we can get the number of seeds. So this is the biotic resource. This is replaced naturally and this can be used repeatedly. So in the same way, in forest also many trees grows naturally. So biotic resources are also known as the renewable resource. Second one is abiotic resource. Means these are also known as non-living resource. It includes land, water, air, mineral, power resources, etc. Some resources can be exhausted. Exhausted means what? The get lost or the get finished. Okay, exhaust. Example, minerals. Minerals can be exhausted due to continuous use. So its total reserve cannot be increased by the human effort if you are using continuously fossil fuel, for example. So there can be the shortage in future. That's why the prices of fossil fuel is increasing day by day because there is a shortage is there. So these are known as a non-renewable resource. Second type is the on the basis of development. 2 are then potential resource and actual or developed resources. Here, potential resource means what? That is the potentiality means ability or quality. Definition: the resources whose total quantity is not known at present are called the potential resources. Example, natural oil reserve of the Middle East and the hydroelectric power of Niagara Falls. Okay, so waterfall in that potentiality is there. In future, it can be used for the to generate the hydro electricity. So potential resources are not used at present. This can be used in the future. Second, actual or developed resources. The resources whose total quantity and quality is known at present are called the actual or developed resources. Okay. Surveys have been conducted to find the total available reserve. Reserve means what? Availability of the resource in large quantity. So potential resources can be converted into actual resources. Potential means Niagara Fall is there or the waterfall is there. It can be used in future. Okay. So for example, before 200 years ago, the high speed of wind was potential resource. Okay. So before 200 years ago, that whatever the wind was there, it was not used to generate the power. But nowadays we can use this wind to generate the power, to generate the electricity, etc. Here, so it means wind was not used as a resource. Now many countries have installed windmills to generate energy. For example, Netherlands and India, Tamil Nadu is a state where we find a large number of that windmills are there. Okay. Now next type is that is on the basis of renewability. There are two types are there. That is the renewable resources and the non-renewable resources. Okay. Renewable resource means what? The resource which can be renewed by reproduction are called the renewable resources. Okay. And in the same way, that is example is that trees, animals, then water and solar energy. These are some examples of the renewable resources. These can be reproduced and we can use again and again. So these are known as the renewable resources. Okay, trees, animal, water, and solar energy, etc. This year, these resources are unlimited, like solar energy, wind energy. These are called the inexhaustible resources. Inexhaustible means what? That cannot be finished. These are unlimited. Okay. Then the quantity is not affected by the human activities. So we can use such energy forever. And so biotic resources are renewable, means trees, then we can say the human beings, animals, we can seeds, agricultural products. These are the renewable resources. Then second is the non-renewable resource, means what? The resources which are available in fixed quantity are called the non-renewable resources, like minerals, fossil fuels, etc. These are unlimited, means if you are using excessively, it can be finished in future. So that's why these are also known as the exhaustible resources, is limited, something that can be finished. So these resources cannot be replaced. The process of formation of such resources is very slow, means to form the soil. Soil is a non-renewable resource, but to replace it or to form it takes millions of years. Fossil fuel also, for the short period it is a non-renewable, but for the long period it is renewable. Means what? It takes lakhs of millions of years to form the fossil fuel. Okay. Then last type of the natural resources is the on the basis of distribution. So we find the natural resources are not, or any resources are not same everywhere. Their quantity is not equally everywhere. So for example, we find the number of oil wells are there in Arab countries and we don't find in other countries there. So according to distribution, there are two types are there: ubiquitous resources and localized resources. Ubiquitous means what? The resources which found everywhere are called the ubiquitous resources, which we find everywhere are called ubiquitous resources, like air, sunlight. We find the sunlight is everywhere and the air is everywhere. And localized resources, the resources which found at certain places are known as the localized resources, like gold, silver. We don't find gold everywhere, but we find sunlight everywhere, so it is ubiquitous. and gold, silver we find in particular place, selected places. So these are the localized resources. Okay, students. So these are the types of natural resources. That is the on the basis of origin, biotic, abiotic, on the basis of ability, that is the potential and actual, on the basis of distribution, that is the ubiquitous and the localized, on the basis of renewability, that is renewable and non-renewable resources are there. Okay, so these are the types of natural resources. Thank you very much.